Hello and welcome to Voices of Regalo, where your voice counts, powered by Regalo Foundation. I am Jane Obodoke, and with me is
Orioluwa Biodun.
Okay, today we have a very important topic to discuss about, and it is harassment.
Harassment, especially in the workplace.
So, what is harassment? To me, harassment is an unwanted behavior that makes someone to be threatened, unsafe, and things like that. What about you?
Yeah, to feel uncomfortable. I think you've just summed it up. Like behaviors that make people feel uncomfortable, that make them feel like, oh, it's not a safe space.
It's not a safe space, yeah.
And I feel like it's something that's quite rampant in most workplaces that a lot of people do not talk about, right?
Yeah.
And I think also when people hear harassment, they often just think about maybe sexual harassment, and it goes way beyond that. It's just anything that literally makes you feel uncomfortable. So it could be verbal harassment,
physical,
it could even be physical harassment,
emotional,
yes,
and even online harassment.
Exactly.
So harassment could happen not just at the workplace, also in schools, anywhere actually. But let's talk about the one, as in before we go to the workplace harassment.
Okay.
How do you see harassment in our homes?
Well, I think that sometimes it's the way, I wouldn't really call it harassment, right? You know how that sometimes parents do some things, like they go overboard to make sure that you do certain things, you do certain tasks, maybe chores for children and all of that. They might not think it's harassment because in their own right terms, they'll feel like, oh, this is my child and I can tell my child what to do. Right, but sometimes their approach might come off as harassment.
On the other hand, in terms of the husband and wife, emotionally,
yes,
some spouse, they do like talk,
verbally.
We said that as in there is verbal harassment, emotional harassment. So all those come to place, and it's not supposed to be. So when we talk about harassment in the workplace, I don't know if you have any experience.
I would really, well, it's an experience too, though. I remember when I was working somewhere and there was this particular, would I say, supervisor I had that always picked on a particular colleague for some reason that I didn't know why. And interestingly, they were of the same gender, right? They were both men, right? But he just found ways to keep picking on the guy for every little thing he did, until a particular day the guy just had enough and there was that outburst, right, at the workplace, and it became a confrontation, and I think he got a query after that. So
so that means harassment in the workplace doesn't need to be like maybe a man
to a woman, like
to a female staff and all that. It could actually be from a male employer to the employee, male employee. But for me, my own experience, like I wouldn't want to mention name, but I faced harassment in the workplace, from verbal, emotional, and all that. And if not that, I'm a strong person, you understand? So you get to a workplace and you see your employer, it will be like, as a female, if they can't get what they want from you, then that means you are going to leave the work. You are going to face verbal harassment, courses and all that, just to frustrate you so that you can leave the job. And sometimes when you, maybe they try everything and you don't, they'll just tender the sack later. I've gone through all that, and like there was a point I said that, it's like, I need a job. I need another job so that I can live, because the space was not safe again. Toxic. It was not safe. It was toxic in the sense that if I'm going to work, my heart will just be like skipping. Oh, I'm going to this work again. Or what is going to happen today? Because where I was, you see that they will threaten me. They'll say, you see this girl that came here, she's looking for a job.
She will get your position.
She will get your position. Something like that. She's looking for a job, or she will get your position. You see people who are even married or anything, they don't care, they just want to get that position. And sometimes I'll be on the system, they are going to send in their mails, you understand, for application
for that same role,
and I'll be told, did you see that mail? Did you see that mail?
That was emotional torture too,
honestly. Did you see that mail and all that? So imagine you, like, you are trying to secure a job and you getting as in a mail in which they are asking for your own position, and you are still sitting down on your seat, occupying that job role and all that. It could be something else.
So what do you think the breaking points could be for people who have, like, when do you think people should be like, I've had enough, like, this is it?
Okay, let me say in my own case, like, you know, that is one issue, because sometimes, even though there's supposed to be a breaking point, or there is a breaking point, some people who are staff in the organization, they wouldn't want to acknowledge that it is a breaking point for them, because why? They don't know where to go again. They don't know the next step to take. There are no jobs outside, so except maybe they have something to start up with, you understand? And you know, they will think of, how do I start? Where is the capital and all that? Even though you don't have another job and you don't know where to start up from, you should consider your health. You should consider your mental health before any other thing, because your health comes before the job. So I think you should consider that before, and just find a way. If the environment is unsafe for you, if it is threatening for you, you need to consider yourself first before any other thing.
I think that you've literally summed up the whole conversation, because I know a lot of people, one major concern for them is, where do I go from here? Like, they don't exactly have another job, or they've not gotten another job, or they don't have the capital to start up a business. And I think that fear most times keeps people in that toxic space. So they just keep enduring and enduring and enduring until maybe one day it just has a ripple effect on them. So I think, like you mentioned, it's important to consider yourself. I don't think there's really a breaking point per se. Well, there is a breaking point, but I don't think you should wait till you get to that point before you take a decision, or, you know, take an action, right? And I think we should also talk about solutions to harassment in the workplace, because a lot of people just feel like, oh, they're being harassed, and sometimes they don't want to speak up, or they don't know how to speak up about it. So I think, do you know, like, any advice or suggestions?
Actually, the solution is to speak up, even though it's going to be detrimental to your job, even though it might cost you your job. You have to speak up. Then also, when it comes to harassment, maybe online or harassment outside, you see some people, instead of them to intervene to assist the victim, they'll take their phones and they'll start videoing and all that. It's really, really bad. Understand? The solution is that if you are facing harassment, one, you should speak up. That is the number one point. And, you know, you should seek for help. Because those who are harassing you, of course, they won't be your helper. So you should seek for help. Then if you are in the workplace, the solution is just to live there if the environment is toxic for you. And because I left there, you understand? Eventually. I left there because it is not really good if an employer will feel like he is doing you a favor. And it is not good. An employer shouldn't feel like he or she is doing a favor. The employee is a favor.
You are both doing yourselves favors if we actually look at it from that perspective.
Now they will feel like, the other people looking for this job. So you are privileged to even be working here. So if you don't give me what I want, then and all that, then we ought to talk about also those who are seeking for jobs. You understand? If you don't give them what they want, they won't give you the job and all that. All that should stop. In a nutshell, everyone should be disciplined.
Exactly.
Everyone should be disciplined and treat to others what you want others to do to you. Because if it were to be your child that is being employed elsewhere, and if the child comes to tell you that, oh, I'm being harassed, you as a father or a mother, you wouldn't like it. So treat to others what you want others to do to you.
Yeah, and I think stable families or unstable families also contribute to harassment most times.
Yeah, they're insecure.
Yes, so when you see people exhibiting certain characteristics or traits, if you look beneath, you discover that there are a lot of things going on in their household. And so I think that it's also a call for people to, you know how they say charity begins at home in sort of a way, right? It's a call for people to also tender their homes, tender their families, to ensure that the products that are coming out of those families are of great use and value. So there are channels of communication in organizations, right? You maybe have to reach out to the HR or there are different channels. So it's just to find the channel in the organization you work at and find ways to communicate to the head to make them understand that this is what is currently going on in your department or with your supervisor or what have you. And if it's even the head of the company that is, harassing you, then I think it's just your cue to maybe start looking for a job somewhere else, or actually just leave the place. Sometimes you might not even know the next plan, but for your safety, it's very important that you leave, and that you also speak to family and friends about what is ongoing. And also, there's also help in community. So if you have a community of maybe people that, that you're not unique to the challenge. There are a lot of other people who have also gone through the challenge and they've surmounted it and they have solutions to it. So if you also surround yourself with the right set of people, you'd be able to get advice on how to manage the situation properly.
Okay, one thing I'm going to say is that harassment is not the victim's fault.
No, never.
But that of the offender.
Yes.
Because, you get some people, because they have connection and all that, they tend to go to the police station and all that. Oh, is it you? Please, you can just take your child and go. They won't do anything. So it's never the victim's fault, because if it were to be a girl, how did she dress? How did she do? Oh, she was working at night, right? And all that. And they leave the person who did
the crime or the offense.
Yes, the crime or the offense. Picture. They now face the victim, and you don't know the trauma that victim is going through. So harassment is never the victim's fault.
Never. Yes. So I think with these few points, we've been able to drive home our point on harassment. I know that there are a lot more that we could cover on harassment, but to just keep this straightforward and to also make you gain the insights from this. But if you know that you've gone through harassment in your workplace before, or there are other ways you've been harassed, would like you to share your story with us in the comment section. Or if you need advice, we'd like you to drop your questions or contributions in the comment section. We'll definitely have people reading who could advise you, and we would also be on the lookout. So thank you so much for staying tuned and listening to this episode. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share with as many people as you can. So we'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.